In today's book excerpt, we'll be looking at the moment Corax talked with the Emperor. As a side note, at this point, the whole Raven Guard Legion was like 3,000 men strong. So they were, after the Isstvan V massacre, they weren't really in the best position out there. Let us begin. Father, my Emperor, it is Corvus, he said, lowering himself to one knee. If you can hear me, please heed my words. My legion is all but dead, and our enemies grow stronger with each passing day. I will know what you would wish me to do. It is in my heart to strike back at these traitors, to shed their blood as they have shed mine. All I ask is your blessing on this endeavour, and I shall take the battle to the foe with righteousness in my heart and your glory in my mind. There was no change in the Emperor's demeanor. Father, hear me. In his straining voice, Corax felt his wounds reopening under his armor, thick blood trickling down his side. He ignored the surge of pain. The Raven Guard will fight to the last to protect the Imperial truth. We are not so strong as once we were, but we will lay down each life left to us in your defense. But I need your help. Please, give me your wisdom. Grant me your guidance. He broke down, collapsing as a wave of fatigue washed through him. For more than 300 days, he had fought back the injuries of Isstvan, pushing himself on. At first, his legion had needed him. Later, he had held on for this moment, enduring his agony in silence, so that he might come before the Emperor and seek his lord's command. He had failed. He had failed on Isstvan, and he had failed here. Blood was leaking from his many wounds, as if in response to the hurt he felt in his psyche. With it, his vigor died, and his will faded. Son, that one word resounded across the glowing firmament, echoing and rebounding, filling Corax's thoughts even as the sound came to his ear. The Emperor's eyes were open, glittering orbs of gold that bored into Corax's soul. Motes of golden energy danced in those orbs, but their look was not without kindness. The Emperor stood, his armor melting away into wisps of golden threads to be replaced by robes of flowing silver that cascaded from his body like an argent waterfall. The Emperor stood, seemingly diminished in size, but not present, by the removal of his armor. Particles churned as smoke, forming insubstantial steps that allowed the Emperor to descend as effortlessly as a normal man walks down a flight of stairs. The Emperor reached out a hand, and Corax felt hot fingers upon his brow. Energy flowed through the primarch, knitting his shattered bones, steaming his spouting blood, healing wounded muscles and organs. The primarch gasped, filled with love and adoration. Stand. Corax did as the Emperor commanded, his strength restored. I am sorry, Father, said Corax, dropping to his knees once more. I know that your labors are important, but I have to speak with you. Of course you do, Corvus, said the Emperor. The majesty and power had gone from his voice, leaving only a tone of respect and admiration. You have endured much to come here. Corax felt a hand on his arm, and he straightened under the Emperor's guidance. His father appeared less majestic, the light dimming beneath his skin, his face taking on the features of a normal man, with brown eyes while long dark hair flowed from his scalp. Is this your true face? Asked Corax. I have no such thing, replied the Emperor. I have worn 1,000,000 faces over the millennia, according to need or whim. I remember this one, said Corax, dimly recalling a dream he had glimpsed when overcome by his wounds in the crashing Thunderhawk. This was how you appeared to me when I was born within my pod. Yes, it is strange that you should remember that, said the Emperor. His expression became sterner. What do you wish to ask of me, my son? The Raven Guard verge on being a spent force, but I would rebuild them if I had the chance, said Corax. Yet I cannot spare a warrior from the fighting to come, nor the time to raise up a new generation of the Legion. I seek your permission to launch attacks against the traitors to mark our final passing in the glory of battle. You wish to sacrifice your legion? The Emperor seemed genuinely surprised. In what cause? I do not do it out of the woe but necessity, explained Corax. I must atone for the failures at Isstvan, for it will tear me apart as surely as my wounds did, if allowed to fester in my heart. Forgive me, but I cannot defend Terra, idly waiting my fate to come to me. The Emperor did not reply for some time. His brow crisped slightly with deep thought. Corax waited patiently, eyes fixed to the Emperor's face. I concur, the Master of Mankind said eventually. It is in your nature to cry havoc and wreak the same upon your foes. Yet there is no need for sacrifice. I am reluctant, but you have my trust, Corvus. I will grant you a gift. A very precious gift. After this, we get a nice scene with Corax and, of course, the Emperor in the lab where the Emperor put the basis of the primarchs. Well, of the current primarchs. And that was kind of surprising for Corax. So let's begin their other discussion. You have given me the secrets of the Primarch project? Said Corax, his voice a whisper of amazement. The parts that were relevant to the creation of the Legion, yes, said the Emperor. He did not smile. I must return to the webway. My absence will be sorely missed. That is all the help I can offer you. The webway? A portal into the warp, of sorts, said the Emperor. This is my great endeavour. Beyond the veil of reality, the forces of the Imperium wage war with a foe just as deadly as the legions of Horus. Demons. Corax knew the word, but did not understand why the Emperor had used it. Demons? Said Corax. Insubstantial creatures of nightmares? I thought they were a fiction. No. In truth, they do exist, said the Emperor. The warp, the other realm we used to travel, is their home, their world. Horus' treachery is greater than you imagine. He has aligned himself to the powers of the warp, the so-called gods of chaos. The demons are now his allies, and they seek to breach the Imperial palace from within. My warriors fight to hold back the incursion. These Terra be overrun with a tide of chaos. I still do not understand, admitted Corax. You do not have to, said the Emperor. Know only that my time is scarce, and my power bent towards securing our ultimate victory over these immaterial foes. It is to you and your brothers who have remained true to their oaths that the physical defense of the Imperium must fall. I have shown you the way by which the Raven Guard might rise from the ashes of their destruction, and again fight for mankind. It is an incredible gift, said Corax, but even with this, I am not sure what you intend for me to do. I have already informed Malcador of my intent, and he gathers such aides and companions as you will need to recover the gene tech, said the Emperor. You asked me for help, but now you must help yourself. Rebuild the Raven Guard, strike down the traitors, and let them know that my will shall still be done. Yes, I shall, said Corax, bowing his head and lowering to one knee. The Raven Guard will rise from the grave of defeat and bring you victory. I not only give you the gift of these memories and this technology, I place upon you the burden of its protection. You will have the power to create armies as I once did, and that in itself would be reason enough to jealousy guard its existence. More than that, the gene store contains the means to destroy what it created. That which I bound within the fiber of every space marine can be undone, unraveling their strength and purpose at a stroke. I understand, said Corax. I will defend it with my life. No. You must swear more than that, Corvus, said the Emperor, his voice becoming aggressive, his words sending a surge of energy through Corax. Swear to me that should our enemies learn of its existence, you will destroy it and everything created by it. It is too dangerous to keep if there is even the possibility that Horus might take it. With its power, he could unleash devastation even greater than you can imagine, and raise up such a force that no defense Rogo might build could withstand it. Swear that oath to me. I swear, as your son and servant, said Corax, trembling with the ferocity of the Emperor's demanding voice. Even if it means the destruction of the Raven Guard and all that you have striven to build? The Emperor's words were like an impeccable storm, pushing into Corax's mind, demanding obedience. Even so, the Emperor turned away and walked back towards the golden throne. The light consumed him once more, burning through his flesh, his robes forming the hard edges of his armor. He stopped just before the throne and looked back at Corax. One other thing, my son, he said calmly and slowly. The gene tech is protected. Only I can deactivate the defense in person. But I cannot spare the time away from this place to do so. I am sure with the knowledge I have given to you that you will find a way through. Corax said nothing, as an aura of golden light surrounded the Emperor, lifting him up to the seat of the golden throne. The Master of Mankind grew in stature once more, as armored plates slid into place and his form was again encast into the golden aegis that Corax had seen on so many battlefields. The Emperor closed his eyes, and with a pulse of energy that rocked the whole chamber, sparks flew and psychic energy danced, embrawling the seated figure in a storm of power. Corax came to his senses, lying on a marble floor with Dorn and Malcador bent over him. Still not sure he believed what had passed. The memories were there, embedded in his brain, like a vault of treasure to be unlocked, and he clung to them as proof of the Emperor's will. Thank you, Father, Corax said. He looked up at Malcador, who nodded in understanding. Boy, this was a long one, and it's a pretty interesting one that delves into Corax and the Emperor's relationship, and it delves a little bit even into the Primarch creation process if you go through the book Deliverance Lost. I think that's what its name was. I must check it out. I think, yeah, that's what it was, Deliverance Lost. And it really shows some pretty good loyalty coming from Corvus himself towards his father. And it just shows how amazingly powerful the Emperor truly is. But that's all for now.